So today's story is about a 13-year-old boy named Caleb Jones, and it's based on a true story. Caleb Jones was a seemingly normal teenager who lived with his mother Hannah Jones and 4-year-old sister Cynthia in a small town in Minnesota. His mother was a single parent who worked hard to provide for his children and slowly built a life for them. They appeared to be an ordinary American family with its ups and downs, happy days and hard ones. Nobody could have imagined the horrible tragedy that would change it all forever. Hannah was a recovering drug addict and previously struggled with relapses. Her addiction affected Caleb emotionally. She was a loving, dedicated mother, but her problems often overwhelmed her and caused a rift between her and Caleb. She had some mental health issues since her father was murdered in her family home, and her mother had been charged for murdering for hire. The one thing that kept her going on was her children. She lived for them. Hannah was working late one night at a local restaurant as a waitress. She left the children with a babysitter, and it was nearly past their bedtime. This is when she received a chilling call from the police station. Her 4-year-old daughter Cynthia had been found dead in her bedroom, and it was her son Caleb who made the 911 call. Hannah rushed home to find police had taken her son away for questioning. Caleb had initially told the 911 operator that he woke up to find his sister dead in her room. His statement to the police was that the babysitter had sent them to bed early because they were tired from playing outside in the rain. Upon investigation, police found that the doors were locked securely from inside, and there was no sign of struggle on Cynthia's body. If no one had broken in, it was plausible that the murderer was someone who knew the family and was trusted. Upon questioning, the babysitter explained how she had left after Caleb had managed to get his sister to sleep and was extremely tired out. He was confident that he could take care of himself and that he wouldn't open the door for anyone. Blood works on Cynthia's body indicated she had been dosed with a sedative. Caleb claimed he had given her milk from the box, and perhaps the milk was expired or spoiled. But the toxicology reports indicated Hannah's pills and some of her drugs had been in the milk. Almost all the evidence either pointed to the sitter or Hannah, except she had alibis at the diner and the sitter had been given a ticket for running a red light at the time of the murder. It could not have been an accident, and the 4-year-old baby was incapable of doing this to herself. Caleb was quiet throughout the ordeal. His mother took it for shock. Losing a young sister suddenly could be traumatizing for him. When the police cross-examined Caleb's statement and sat him down for questioning, they found many inconsistencies in his story. If he had given the milk to his sister, why did he not immediately see her react to it? Why had he been adamant for the babysitter to leave them earlier than usual? Caleb eventually broke down and confessed to the police that he killed his sister intentionally. Hannah's recent drug relapse had lasted a whole year, and for his 13th birthday, Caleb had wanted nothing more than his mother to be rid of her addiction. When grief struck Hannah, visited Caleb in jail to soothe her heart, hoping it was a lie. Caleb confessed to his mother that he killed baby Cynthia to hurt her, taking away both children, one in death and the other in prison. He had even considered murdering his mother. A bright child with a high IQ of 141, no one knew what he was capable of and what was going in his head. Many of Caleb's teachers thought he was smart, however, a little disruptive. Caleb was sentenced to 40 years in jail. Psychologists have passed many evaluations over the years. The one thing all doctors agree about is that Caleb is a psychopath. He's well aware of what he did. He simply feels he made a mistake and mustn't be behind bars. The way he speaks of his crime gives away how methodical he was and how much he enjoyed hurting both his sister and his mother. After all this, Hannah was suicidal and resorted to heavy drinking to calm her aching heart. Then, in the grief and sorrow, she found peace in forgiving Caleb. Using her pain to rise to action, she created a foundation in Cynthia's name to help people afflicted with mental illness, grief, and the criminal justice system. Hannah is now clean of drugs and has written books. Hoping to set an example of what unconditional love and forgiveness look like, she accepts her negligence towards her son Caleb. Caleb remains behind bars to this day, continuing to fascinate psychologists and behavioral sciences. However, he will be eligible for parole soon. Hannah fears for her life as soon as Caleb walks free, because to this day, he deeply hates his mother for neglecting him when he needed her the most. So this was today's story. It was actually based on a true story. The link of that is in the description. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys again with another creepy story. Until then, bye!
My name is Amber, and ever since my childhood, I've experienced sleep paralysis a lot more than the average person. And let's just say, it's one of the most unpleasant things you can experience. Since childhood, I've always had vivid hallucinations when I was experiencing sleep paralysis, and they've always scared me, even to this day. This story is one of the most terrifying things that have and ever will happen to me in my lifetime. It all started in late January. I had just moved into this new house in a small village on the island of Hawaii. My house is near a deep pond, and I got it for a good deal because it was supposedly haunted, and no one else wanted to purchase it. But I've never really believed in the paranormal or anything like that, so I just saw the good deal on a decent-sized house and took it. A few weeks after buying the house, a big snowstorm hit one night, causing the power to go out and snowing me in. I couldn't see a thing, so I decided that I would head to bed early and get an early start on unloading boxes the next day. I hopped into bed, pulled my blankets over me, and fell asleep in the pitch-black room. I woke up to the noise of tapping at my window. I tried to get up, but realized I couldn't move at all. Sleep paralysis took over my whole body. The strange boy kept staring at me. His eyes were pitch black, as if he had no pupils. He had a wide, inhuman, devilish grin, and his teeth were huge. I was terrified and wanted to scream, but I couldn't and was forced to watch him. I kept telling my mind that it was just a hallucination, but it was a lot more vivid than any other hallucination that I had ever had. Then in a split second, he was gone. I calmed myself, thinking it's all going to be over soon now. My fear started to rise when I heard the noise of clanging in the kitchen. Did he break into my house? I was getting paranoid. I couldn't move. I strained my eyes to try to see the bedroom door through the darkness, and I could see something. A figure standing on the other side of my bedroom door. He slowly opened the door. It was the boy. I could hear every footstep he made. He continued to creep towards my bed, and I could see his devilish grin from the corner of my eye. He just stood there for minutes, and it was lasting longer than any sleep paralysis I had ever experienced. I felt that I was about to die. I was just praying it would be over soon. My prayers were answered, and I was finally able to move again. The boy was gone. The next morning, when I woke up, I felt something strange as I walked on the carpet. The carpet was soaking wet. And at that point, it hit me. Was it really a hallucination? Or did someone actually come into my room last night? I shared this incident with some of the neighbors, and it turns out there was a spooky story about the pond near my new house. Back in 1947, a group of kids were playing on the banks of the pond. One boy accidentally tripped over a log and fell into the water. Before any of the other children could react, the boy sank beneath the water surface. For a few moments, they waited for him to resurface, but there was no sign of him. Horrified, they ran back to the village to get help. Some local men came as fast as they could and dived into the pond, searching for the young boy. They were terrified by what they found. The boy was sitting on a rock at the very bottom of the pond. His arms were hanging down by his sides and his body was swaying back and forth with the currents. His eyes were wide and his mouth was hanging open, but he was dead in the water. The eerie sight sent shivers down the spines of the men who had dived in to save him. They were deeply disturbed and said it was such an unusual way to drown. It was as if the boy had calmly sat down on the rock and waited there to die. Ever since, bizarre rumors began to spread around the area. Many villagers believed that the ghost of the drowned boy lurked beneath the deep waters of the pond. They said that at night he would come to the surface cold, wet, and shivering, his icy hands clutching at unsuspecting victims and trying to pull them into his watery grave. According to the rumors, he was trapped in this world by accident, and the only way he could escape was to find someone else to take his place at the bottom of the pond. As I mentioned before, I don't really believe in the paranormal, but that creeped the hell out of me. After that, I put my house up for sale as I am no longer able to sleep peacefully in this house. A strange, eerie feeling always keeps me restless. But unfortunately, so far, no one has come to view the house or made any offers, as it was famous for being haunted. My current situation does not allow me to rent a house, so I am stuck here. I just hope I am able to get out of this place.